So this is the first recording that I've done, that I've tried this. And the first thing I guess we're going to do is, well, a lot of people have asked, they like to see this video and just kind of a play-by-play and shot list of it. So this is a video that I did for a local police department in Central Texas, and they came to me and said basically, hey, we want a video that will show our department in a new light. We're a small town and we want to show that we're advancing and that we're part of the community, and this is for recruiting for new people. So I'll show you the video and then we'll go through a shot list. So here's the video right here. Okay.
On my honor.
On my honor. I will never betray my badge.
My badge.
My badge.
My integrity.
My integrity.
My character. My character.
My character.
Or the public trust.
Public trust.
The public trust. I will always have the courage.
Have the courage.
Always have the courage.
To hold myself.
To hold myself.
To hold myself.
And others.
And others.
And others.
Accountable for our actions.
I will always.
Always.
I will always uphold the Constitution. My community.
My community.
My community.
My community.
And the agency I serve.
Leander Police Department, where service is first.
And that's the video. All right, so we'll just go through here and we'll just start quickly going through it and showing you what made what. First, just a very easy title sequence. So the first shot here is, this was done on a drone, on the Ronin, and basically I just went up from the top and had him do this flag ceremony, and just shot it, just straight down. I shot it a couple different ways. Ended up with this shot. I liked it. I did have some other shots of the flag pole, but this one just really seemed to work pretty good. So I wanted to start out with just kind of that question shot, like, hey, this is what this is all about. So we start with there. And I also timed it up with the music, as you can hear, that the music hits this beat, and I put that in, this low hit rumble right here as it went off, just so you could hear that. So kind of worked out. The next shot, this was a couple of shots. First of all of these shots went, we did these as per script. So I scripted the whole thing out, found out kind of what they were looking for, and scripted every one of these shots. So this is a shot that was on a little orbit dolly, a spider dolly on a little rubber track, and I just went around and had them raise and lower the flag a couple of times, and that's kind of what it looked like. That's what we got. One of the things I'm going to show you in each one of these is just the effects that I use and that sort of thing. Again, there's a million different ways to do these things, and I'm going to also tell you what I learned and what I liked and didn't like. But let me turn off all the effects here, and you can just see this is the raw. This is what it looked like out of the camera. I tend to shoot very, very flat, as you can see here. It's a very, very flat shot, and that's kind of what it looked like. So I let me turn on some effects here. I did a lot of this HDR plug-in. It was an overcast day, and I really needed it to pop. So I did just a plug-in, just an HDR plug-in, which, as you can tell, just really helped just lighten it up and made things pop. I needed that blue to pop. So I colored it just a little bit, but it was mostly the HDR plug-in that did it. And then, as you can see here on the vector scope, which you should always use, I went ahead and crushed the blacks. They're below 0. This is key, and just kind of kept everything around 75%. So just really wanted the colors to pop and to work as best we could. We only had about 10 minutes to shoot this particular shot. The second shot that we came and did was I just set this up, had all the guys line up and gal to line up, and we just had them do this in slow motion, or just do this in real time, and at a nice pace. I shot a lot of these in 60. I shot everything twice, so you can see here that this is this is a 29.97 clip, but I shot everything in 60 and turned around and shot it in 29.97, so that if I needed to slow it down, I could. But this is actually a real-time shot that you can see what's going on here.
My honor.
Color-wise, it was outside. It was still overcast. So just off to the side here, I did have a just a little 4x4 bounce card. It's silver. Made it myself. I use it all the time, and it's just hitting his face right here. You can just kind of see the silhouetting of his face. It was an overcast day, and you can see here's the off the camera raw. And once I added some color correction in there, and my color correction is generally the same. I'll kind of mess with the vibrancy a little bit, but generally I'll bring the shadows down and really kind of crush them. And I know you're not supposed to go below 0, but sometimes I do, just because I kind of want to keep that overcast day going, and then I bring everything up to about 100 or low. Allowed this one to peak a little bit. It's the banding. This is what's peaking over here. So I don't let my colors lie. This is where everything's kind of sitting around the 75% area. So that really kind of helps out. And then just add a little bit of just a little saturation to it, and call it done. And it didn't take much. Just a little bit goes a long way. Just the before and afters. So you can see that. And you know, I shot them a whole bunch of different ways, and I'll show you over here kind of what. Here's the raw coming off of it, and we just had different things for them to do, and just had them go up and down, and I did a couple of rack focuses, and it just gave me a little bit more to work with in case in post I knew kind of what I wanted, but I wanted to give myself some options. So we you know, we did that several times. This shot, actually the shot from before, when we were, I didn't plan this particular shot, but it just worked out so good. I was down there, I had a little spider dolly, put it in an arc, and just rolled the camera around on a 14mm lens, and just had him raise and lower the flag. The shot that I actually wanted to do for this was this shot here. It was a low shot with the dolly, and it's just us coming under like that, and it worked out, but I thought the other one just worked out a lot better. So my sequence was going to be going from the overhead, pop, to that, and we did that several times, but I tell you, the other shot just worked really well. I just really liked it. I needed to get a lot more light on these guys, and I just didn't have time, and there was so much cloud cover that it just wasn't going to happen. So I adapted, and we went with this shot here, color corrected it, and then we went up to this shot here. And then every shot pretty much has a straight-on look, and this was the straight-on look that I took. And I just did a little orbit around the guy a little bit, and I didn't hardly use any of it at all. Just a little subtle movement, and I really brightened up the background, as you could see. So there's not much to it. And I'll show you each one of these. I'll kind of take the color off and on. You can kind of see what happened there. This is the finishing program that I use. I really like it, but you can do just about the same from the normal color correction from Final Cut. So just kind of depending on what I need, I'll just go back and forth. Again, I crushed the blacks a whole lot, but I really want to bring out his face. Again, I had a little bounce light over here. The sun was coming from over here at the time, and so I bounced him. I had a little bounce card over here, and you can just see it just to light up his face a little bit. And it seemed to work out pretty good. So here's the rails. You can see this is how much movement I could have actually used for this particular shot. And you see I put had the guys in the background with the flag just to give us some color back there, and it seemed to work out. But I think this is the one I used, or maybe one of the other ones. So I had him where he looked at me, I had him where he looked past me, and yeah, I just did that. But that one just seemed to work out the best. I don't quite know why I picked this one, but it just seemed to work out really good. This is a tricky shot. So the script called for that I wrote, camera starting outside of police cruiser, police officer, patrol officer inside on computer is what the script called for. I wrote it because obviously police officers spend a lot of time inside their cruisers, and then I had to figure out, well, how am I going to do it? So as you can see, slow motion, you can see me in it, which is not a great thing. I actually tried working myself out of it, but it just was going to take way too long. The other problem with this is this particular take, the camera got bumped and it went into auto mode on the ISO. So there's an ISO bump in there that you can probably see it, and I'll go ahead and play it real time. And you can probably see as it bumps up, which I'm not real happy about. Boop, see it right there.
I'll never betray my badge.
See that?
My badge.
That's what happened. So this was a really interesting shot. I put the camera on a large rubber track on the spider dolly and then put a jib on it. So the camera's sitting on a jib, and I started the jib low, and then we took it and we went all the way in. And the key of this shot was to go all the way from inside to outside. Can't do that on a Ronin or anything else. Can't do that handheld because we end up just about over this guy's shoulder. So you can see how far in we traveled. That's a pretty good travel. I shot outside, had to go on their schedule. This officer was, I think he was just getting off shift or about to get on shift. So I had to go on kind of his schedule. And you can see, actually you can see my reflector over here. And the sun is over here, and the reflector is kind of back off camera over here. So I have a reflector pouncing with light, and then I put just a little quarter flag diffuser on him just to knock it down, because it was almost too much for him, and it was beaming him with light because we had to come right through this windshield, which knocked it out, and then right on him and try to light up the inside. And I mean, you can see right here how much light is still hitting inside this car. This car was on fire inside, but you kind of need that if you're shooting through windows. And especially because I'm going from the outside and then going all the way in. So this was a pretty interesting shot. And to get the camera small enough to come inside there was somewhat tricky. Generally, I wouldn't have these guys wear sunglasses, but it was actually hurting him to not wear sunglasses. And we've all seen police officers in sunglasses, and so I thought that's probably fine. It's worth it. For their comfort. And I always tell people, let's play the game. We're going to do a game where I'm going to try to pound you with as much light as possible, and you're going to tell me when you can have enough. Here's the raw. You can just kind of see the raw, and there it is right there. And then we add a little bit of color effect. And you can see over here, I tried object removers and shapes and all this, and at the end, I'm not that good of I'm not a VF guy. Or VX guy, and so yeah, it just wasn't going to work out. So so there's that shot. I really want to bring out the blues out here and make that shot work. And
I will never betray my badge.
My badge.
It's a quick shot. It doesn't last very long. It goes from 13 or about 9 seconds to 14 seconds. So, but it took a while to set up, and it was just me out there, and it was kind of a bang. This is the shot I don't like. Actually, I had a camera assistant that day, and I had him shoot it. It's the last shot of the day. We shot this over really about 2 days, but we had one day where there was a lot of people. It was just a long day, and we were shooting in and around the police station. And anyway, we shot this, and I don't like the shot. It's too profiler to me. Got a little bit of movement in there. It's not great movement. I do like this, the contrast between all the monitors and then her, but the shot does nothing to me. To do it again, I would turn her around, have her face the camera, have a fake desk basically, have her pick up a phone, and then have this in the background so we can see her face. I'm not a big profile guy. One thing about the shot, it was really dark in the room. I'll kind of show you the raw of that. So we first turn on the lights, and you can see here. So I had a light in the corner, just kind of shining in over here, or shining up, and then I had another light in the far back corner hitting the ceiling. So just two lights hitting the ceiling, but there's a lot of reflection on these monitors that you can see right here, and completely unacceptable to me. So I just put a cutter, just completely cut off this part right here of the light source to just knock that completely off. And you can see as we shape that light what that does. There's without it and there's with it. So you can kind of see it took a little bit of light off of her back here, but I mean it wasn't bad. And then obviously it's a pretty dark shot, and then knowing that in post, I knew I was just gonna come and raise it all up. So I'll show you the befores and afters. Let's turn all that off. There it is, and there it is without it. There's the there it goes. Without it, and really I just brought everything up. And you could tell how orangey it was. For some reason, well, we didn't get a good white balance that day for some reason, so I just faked the white balance a little bit to see if I can make that work. Here's another shot. Again, not real happy about it. I mean, not much going on, but just had the tripod and then just rotate it over on a 14mm lens, and just to show a person here. Again, nothing special about that shot. This is an outside shot. It was out at a shooting range. So they had 3 officers and an instructor for us. This is just a simple pan shot, and just panning across his arms, just somewhere to start. And what we did here, the sun, you'll see in a second, but the sun's all behind them all, completely behind. In fact, you see the shadows right here, and the sun's coming this way. So what I did is I put 2 pretty good sized reflectors at the target area, and just hit them on it. So you can see this is what this is from right here. He has good backlight, but then this is all auto fit, the bounce light coming back off of him. So it worked out okay. And I just wanted something just to start him out with. The colors are pretty good. I just enriched them a little bit. So then we go to this, and we just do a quick sequence. So here's a shot. I got the Ronin out and put the Ronin on and put the camera up on it, and we just walked right next with the instructor. In fact, I'm going to do this. We just walked with the instructor, and this was the original shot right here. It's just a long instructor shot. So there, knowing how I'm going to edit it, I knew I just needed a wide and tight of everything, and that's something I always do. Is if I don't know what I'm going to do, man, just get a wide of it, establishing shot, and then go get a tight of it, and that's what I did. You can see the reflection coming back up. I did. This is the master shot right here. Okay, I'm going to turn this off real quick. This is the master shot. So the guy's walking, and we see that the sun's hitting him, and then he stops right here. So you can really see where the sun is. This is about 7 o'clock in the morning or so, something like that. I really like this shot. It worked out really good. You can't tell so much all the reflection I have on them, but it silhouetted them up pretty good. So one of the things I did is I wanted to enhance this look. I love this early morning look, but that's the this is the out of camera look right here. So it doesn't look anything quite like that. In fact, there's no flares, no nothing, but I wanted to give it that look. I wanted to add that. So, of course, I came in and we corrected it, and we just kind of warmed it up a little bit, and then I added a flare right there. And you'll see subtle movement of the flare as it is moving. You can kind of see it right here. The flare is moving a little bit. Well, to match all this up, we needed to match it on this other shot. So this is the raw out of that. So to match the other shot, just walked in, warmed everything up a little bit, added a flare. You can see it right there, coming from the same angle, and it ties those shots in. And to allow the flare to have a little bit of life, you can see it's moving, and it's kind of matching the other flare on the other side. This tricks us and thinks, hey, this shot's all the same sort of shot. So we go with that guy. We want to see faces, and on this video, I think there's so much my computer just keeps kind of going, what?
My character.
So you can just see
My
how that's
character.
working there. And then what we did is we didn't know which guy we're going to use, so we just had all of them take turns, and we had about 5 minutes to shoot these, and so I just did very simple, easy pans right there to them. And I stayed with the same kind of look over here. You can see me turn the effects off. There's the raw, and then I just add a little orange in there. You can see I made the whole thing vibrant, and then I came in here and I added some orange right here in the foreground. So I faked all this stuff up just to make it match, okay? Because that doesn't do anything for us. That really helps us out a lot. And then we had a little bit of light. I just brought a reflector over. You can see it right here. The sun again is coming in over here, and then I just brought the reflector close in over here, and you can see it. It's just filling him up a little bit right there. So filling his face in, and we did all the different guys that way. So turned out okay. I mean, pretty simple shot. And again, a lot of this is we want to see the people and all this stuff, and the people need to kind of match the voices and that sort of thing. So. This is a fun shot to do. Actually, the script called for, as I wrote it, right along with a police officer, to say hi to a family. and a family wave. So we get it from the police officer's perspective, and then we get it from a family's perspective as well right here. So I was going to go with a GoPro on this one, but I didn't. Decided not to do it. And so I actually bought a little camera mount and mounted I shoot with a Sony FS700. Put 700 on there because I wanted to give a nice big wide look. I didn't want that flat camera look. So that's what we did. So I just put it on there and radioed the guy and said, let's go, drive it. And he did. It was pretty simple. So he's driving, and then we come here to the family playing ball, and they're waving, and it matches the waving shot here. Basically what we did is I just took a low shot from behind them, and then just gave it a little bit of movement. As you can see, as my computer tries to wake up, let's give it a little bit of movement, and it's quick, but it's just enough so you can kind of set where it's at. And we'll play it one more time. See it? You can see just a little bit of movement. You know, I want it to look like it was later on in the day. It was late in the day, but I wanted to just give it kind of that golden look. So we'll turn everything off, and you can see this actually how it looked. So what I did is obviously we color corrected it a little bit. We brought the colors up, just made them pop a little bit. The sun was coming in from over here. All this was blown out just to bring them up. But it just wasn't good enough. And so what I did is I just added a gradient. And you can see right there, now all of a sudden it looks like it's nice and late in the day, later on in the day, and really pops these, all this. And then I added a lens flare just to give it a little bit more look. You can see it right there, very subtle, but it's moving at the same time. So, you know, that's what it looks like. Just, you know, just a shot. And then we just add the effects for the subtlety of the effects, and it brought everything out a little bit. Okay. Here, script called for, we wanted to show a bunch of, you know, kind of a crime scene. This was a pain. I had a jib out, and it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We'd shoot all this in one day. It's under a tree, which made sense, but it was late in the day. You can see the shadows. Everything's just going almost straight down. All these guys were really, really dark. So I brought in, I have a little 6x6 reflector, butterfly reflector. I just brought it in. It's sitting right off camera, and it's just giving a bunch of soft light right up in here. And I don't know if how well we can see it or not, but you can just kind of tell. There's just some soft light, just filling these guys up. You can see the harshness of the light coming through, but at least we have something here to bring them up a little bit. And then this was a jib shot, which I wasn't real happy with. Everyone on set really liked coming off a tree. So we just give it a little foreground movement, and then as the officer, as she walks by, and then we go up and just showing the establishment of it. So I want to show a crime scene, and then we just take it up and we go like that and show everybody. As far as color correction, there wasn't a whole heck of a lot to do. That's it off the camera. It gave me a nice shot, and I didn't have to do much. I mean, I put in a filter to help really make the sky pop a little bit, and that helped out. All right, and then this is going with this guy here. It's just a shot. You see him turn, and I just need something here just to show different people, and I thought that was just different. So I added it, and I really wanted something to get this guy from there to here, and that's what we did. So I just had that shot in there, just something different. I actually had these guys walking and doing other things, but I just went with that shot instead. This shot, it was simple. We just had we just had a dolly who brought him over, and we still had that 6x6 reflector, and then we went and added one more reflector to just really bring up his face and right here on his eyes, just to really make him pop out a little bit. And I just dollied up and down, and I'll show you some of that raw of kind of what that looks like. Right here we are. So this is way overexposed. I didn't like it. His shirt was screaming, and it just wasn't doing anything. I knew I needed to bring down the iris a little bit, so I did, but I want to keep the background still kind of out of focus. So we brought it down, but it came down too much. You can see right here. So we then added another reflector right there on him, and I think that's almost the shot. Maybe this was beforehand. Sorry, that's beforehand right there. Then we went and added another right there. You can see it. It just really brought out his eyes. And I knew that I will take this shot. I don't want to overexpose the shot. So we exposed it correctly right there, just kept it right up about 100, and I knew that in post I could come and bring it up. But I knew if I started with this, that there's no way that's going to work. I mean, he's still under, but it's pretty blown out. So knowing what to kind of look for and it is good. So this camera doesn't have quite the dynamic range that I wish other ones had, but it got it done. So with a little bit of color correcting, and I know I can just bring up his face a little bit, and it didn't take much. You can just see I just added a little bit, and you can come in here and take a look. The exposure I just brought it up a little bit, the vibrancy a little bit, which stretches out the blacks, brings up the highs a little bit. Add a little bit of depth to him, or detail, and then saturated it. And that's pretty much it. I didn't really do much else to it. So, in there. But the key is his eyes, and you got to make his eyes work. So, yeah. This shot was inside. This was actually a pickup shot. Didn't even really mean for the shot to happen, but I was shooting these folks, and this officer was here. She didn't have much to do. I had a dolly already out, a little slider dolly or something, and decided to go and shoot her. Because sometimes you just never know. One of the things I liked about this is there was some light leakage out coming and hitting the lens of the camera, and I really actually liked it. There was a light sitting right up here coming down, illuminating this banner and then this side of her face, and we had another light over it on this side just shining up, just giving us a subtle light, subtle coverage. In fact, you can see it kind of coming down and hitting her here. So one of the things I liked is I just took it and I allowed that light streak to help. In fact, I think that's my hand going over it when I got to a certain point, just shielding it instead of going with a flag and everything else. I just wanted to go from here to there. So all that is actually in camera. There's the... Okay, so not quite sure what happened there, but anyway, so as we went over it, you can see that I just wanted to go live, so
myself
to cover up those flares from the room. So it turned out really nice, and it was just a nice little shot. In fact, everyone really liked it. It told a lot, right? City of Land or State of, it was a good shot. And there's the final. So it was pretty good out of the camera, honestly. We needed to change some things up as well. So that's also what we did. Sorry. And one of the things was using the drone again, and we wanted to show their SWAT team in action, but we didn't want them coming around and blowing up buildings or all hoorah, because this is a family neighborhood community kind of. It's a bedroom community, so they wanted to show that they do have a SWAT team. So we thought, hey, well, let's just do it with the drone. We went next door to the fire station and had them climb a tower, and that's kind of what we got. So I started this one which is a cool reveal. Here you have no idea what's going on, and as we go over, you can just a different angle. We go from a tight to this weird wide, and it's just kind of a fun shot. It's just totally kind of different. I really liked it, actually. It was a lot of fun to do. Again, just a simple drone shot. There's the before. It was shot in it was shot raw, so I had a lot of latitude to play with it. And man, I just kind of crushed it. I mean, I wanted it. It was almost middle of the day. You kind of see where the shadows were. Probably about 3 o'clock. and it was just hard shadows, and I just wanted to warm it up a little bit to kind of give it that dusk feeling. So shot the sequence really quick, actually. Shot it here, had the guys kind of reset, and this is actually not even my idea of the shot, but as they're coming down, the drone's coming up. So we're just bringing the drone up with it. One of the things is you'll see on the raw. Let me turn them all off. Here's the raw right here. And it's just, I mean, you can see how flat of a day it is and just not a whole lot going on. Pretty cruddy day. So, man, I just went and warmed it up a whole lot. I changed the white balance. That's good, but I just wanted to give that golden kind of look and just go an off white balance. So that's on purpose. It's just giving it that off kind of afternoon kind of feel to it. And I think it helped it. To me, that was just a little bit too rough, too harsh. So, I don't know. Also kind of helped knock, you see some of the whites are starting to clip a little bit, and it put everything in perspective as far as where the shadow, or where true black is and that sort of thing. So, I can't say, using vector scopes, know how to read them, know how to, that's going to save your bacon. It saved my bacon a whole lot. So we have this shot, and then we just go to this guy. Again, you see the thing was throughout is having the guys look at the camera and the camera going around them. So we just set the camera up on a Dana dolly and just tracked him left to right and just went back and forth. The funny thing about this is these guys back here got really tired. I guess not really funny, but they got really tired. So we had them do a couple times where they're coming down, but it just wasn't wasn't working. So you can see here's the shot. Here's the other ones. It was just kind of tough for them to do it. And just getting everything perfectly the way it needed to be was just tough. So I just asked them, hey guys, can you all just hang out there for a little bit? And they did, and they got really tired. This was a pretty hard shot. So remember, the sun is coming this way. In fact, you can see their shadows. Very, very harsh coming this way. I allow the guy to keep his sunglasses on. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit so you can see kind of what's going on here. So one good thing about having sunglasses. So here's my little 3x3 reflector that I made. Love them. Made my own foam core, and that's just paint. Silver paint on one side and black on the other one. Got another one which is gold on one side and black and white on the other. Anyway, put it right here over to the side of him. You can see it, and it's just hitting him right here. And then I put another smaller reflector on the back side of him, just to bring this out right over here. This is all another reflector on these sides right here, and it just helped him to pop up a little bit off here. It worked. It really brought him up. I mean, the sun's coming right here, and yeah, I still have a good little halo right here around him. And this would normally all be shadows, and I slammed him with as much light as I could bear to put on him. Here's the raw. I mean, obviously it looks a little different, but all your color information's there. These are clipping a little bit. I allow that to kind of go. I felt that's okay. And then I'll show you kind of what we did on this. Obviously we colored him. Just again, vibrancy, crush the blacks a little bit. It's kind of the look I generally have. And the other thing I wanted to do is this was still too much. So I added a graduated filter on him. And I want it to match this. See that look there? See the amber? I want it to match that. So I put a graduated filter, but I didn't want the whole thing to match. So I just wanted to keep this up here. And in real life, there was no way there would be blue up there. But I just put the graduated filter on there and called it done. And that's kind of what we got there. So I thought it worked out okay. Just kind of a different look, and really kind of helped him pop up a little bit. I mean, you can see it right here. There's the graduated line right there. If I can move it around a little bit, see it right there. So yeah, just something different. This shot here, cop car. We just went side of the road, and I just, hey, come out of your car, and I will I'm just going to push into you. Again, subtle movement. It's not a whole lot of movement, but you'll see it.
I will always.
Just a little bit of subtle movement of the guy getting out of the car. Now, one thing here that was tough was the black car. It was really tough. It was a very overcast day. It was tough, so I just used this HDR plug-in just to bring it. You see the clouds, and just bringing that out. And I really wanted as much blue in there as I could get. In fact, you can see I didn't really color it much. I just kind of brought the whites down and the darks up a little bit, and got this. So it's just a quick sequence. Boom, coming out. And then to get from here, how do we get from here to there? Well, I just went across the street, put a long throw lens on the camera, and just did racks in and out, which was actually really tough because it was very sensitive, and it was very tough to get that mark. And I had to have the camera pretty high to get this look right here. So anyway, but I wanted to have that far shot look, and that just goes from there to this shot here. Oh, by the way, here we go, and there's out of the camera, and again, just kind of crushed the blacks, and yeah. Here, this poor guy, it was overcast, and I slanted him with light. I put a lot of light on him because I needed him to pop. I mean, I'm going against the lights on the car, on the cruiser, and I just needed to get some light, so I really pounded him with light. And I'll show you kind of what happened with that. It was kind of awkward. You can see over here, here's all my different raw. I gave myself some safety shots first, of just on the camera, without any movement. Let's see, here we are, right here. So, you can see, here he is with the sunglasses, and it was just tough. And I didn't really like that too much. But one of the things we can see as we zoom in is you can totally see the Dana dolly. So I brought the Dana dolly, put it up on stands, brought it really high up, and over him, his camera's sitting right here, and moved the camera in and out. And so you can really see it right there. So there I am. I'm pretty far down. I have a monitor kind of trying to rack my focus. So I'm racking focus as I'm pushing in on this guy with the reflector sitting right over here, nailing him with some light on a stand. So you can just, it took several times. It was actually pretty difficult. It was overcast. It was actually really hard for me to see as well. And it just made it really tough for both of us. In fact, you can see here, he's kind of, he can only handle so much. So we just kind of play that game. He's just like, man, I'm sorry, I'm crying over here. It was just tough. So I mean, we tried with the sunglasses, but ultimately his eyes, we just need to use his eyes. So you can see the coloring wasn't too crazy. Again, just crushed the blacks, and brought down the highlights a little bit, and you can see there's his face. Blacks are very crushed, maybe a little too crushed for this one, to be honest with you. Nothing's clipping. Okay, so that's that. This is a school shot. The script called for, it's just showing officers interacting. These are officers that are in the school system. And so this was a shot that was just off the shoulder. I just walked around and got that because figured probably need it. Showing the emblem, going to a kid smiling. This was not set up. I just let them talk and let them do their thing, and that's what they gave me. Here's the actual raw of the shot right here. And I liked it, and I did it a few times. And I think I even moved them over hey, stand this way, move your shoulder this way a little bit. But I coached the officers, I didn't coach the kids so much. And I wanted this. I wanted to feel like we're tight. So that's the kind of the raw of the whole thing. And we go from there to this, to this shot. And you can tell I did a lot of work on this one. The colors were just kind of strange to me. There it is. So I white balanced it, and I threw in a little vignetting just to bring them out a little bit. So this is the shot. This is on a Ronin. So I just had my Ronin. I was walking around with them in a circle. Just make
My community. My community?
that's it. So it's a quick shot. The way the shot was actually kind of supposed to go, but I thought it was more important to show the badge was this, and I'll kind of show you the actual shot. Here's the shot. So this is what I told the guys to do. There's a circle. I said, when I pass you, I want you to, I told this guy right here, scoot in. That way it's gonna look like I never left this, like, you know, this, I was in the circle. So this is a 14mm lens on it. I wasn't too worried about focus. I closed the iris down a whole lot, or the aperture down, and then there's just the walk around. And I just kind of walked around them for a little bit. And this is all in the Ronin. One thing's when you're moving, doing movement, foreground movement's important. So you can see I try to get pretty close to these guys. This is me pretty high on it and just kind of going back and forth. So yeah, that's the raw. So that's kind of what we did. Here it is again. I just did a lot of walking around to them. So a couple of cheap jib shots that you can do on a Ronin. You know, yeah, kind of worked out. Did some other ones where I walked up to them, got off the camera, off the shoulder, took the Ronin off, and just walked around for a while, which was actually kind of nice. Did some far shots on them, didn't use any of it, but just good backup. Whenever I'm using different technologies, sometimes I'll just go and just get a backup just to make sure. So anyway, there you go. So there's that shot right there. And then this was what's called the badge ceremony, where this is where actually what happens is they bring a bunch of officers in and they get presented their new badges. So here, back of the room, actually haze the room a little bit. Had a light sitting over here, underneath here. Had a light in the back of the room to the back right of the camera, shining up, and then another light over here. And another light over here. You can see it right here. So 3, maybe 4 lights in. And this is just as high as I could take the slider, or the Dana Dolly, and just moving it. So it's just subtle movements right there. And I just let them do this a couple times. And we didn't have a whole lot of time. We had a lot of people we were working with, so kind of took what I could get. Took everybody out of the room, kind of reset the room. You can see the light over here. You can see the lights coming down over here. We got a light over here still. I want to show different departments, so I put this person here, and we see civilians, and we see this, and we just make it all match. Also, integrity, respect, dedication. It's important to them, so we did that shot as well. Boom. And still had a little haze in the room, just to kind of see a little bit in the lighting. It's kind of tough to tell, but it's there. This is right off the camera. It's kind of what it looks like. There's the room. So you can see that. And then so we go to this shot. And again, just a little movement, nothing crazy, just a little bit. This is on a 14mm lens. And then I sent everybody out of the room. Get out, took these guys, moved them forward, got behind everybody, brought everybody back in the room for the shot, and just had the Dana Dolly again just behind everybody at high, so we could see these guys, and I could see this. This is important, and just did a quick reset, and then bring them back in. And I guess there was some actually here too, but it was really tight. So then we kicked everybody out, and I just left with the people that were our actors, our voluntold from the police department, and just a simple sequence of the badge with the chief's hand. We know it's the chief's hand because we also probably saw it right there. But now he's coming out of frame, so his hand can go down. It's tight enough that we can change space, and then I just put it on a slider, and we gave him that look right there. And we just did that several times. Boom. And it's just a quick reveal. Boom. And that's going to black right there. So so you can see that. And then that's our impact. And then we go with our chief. And he's talking. And when he shot him one morning, sun was coming from over here. I have my reflector right here, another one back here, just kind of hitting on the side. So this is the natural sun, and then I put a little flag on him just to take the heat off of the sun a little bit, and to match this side of him right here. So he does have a flag on him, but then we took it off, or I balanced it right here, but you can see the line right there. And the key was to have all that in. That's what the actual shot looks like off the camera. There it is. Yeah. So the fun thing about this one is this audio.
Department, where service
Not his
is
audio at
first.
all. No, we actually
Department,
shot this.
where
This was his actual audio. When I did the voiceovers, I brought him back in.
Under Police Department, where service
And
is
as much
first.
as I could work with it, it wasn't clear.
Under Police Department,
So,
where service
do ADR, and you can see that I really had to work with it, and just had to do a couple times.
Leander Police Department, where service
Do it there.
is
Right here, this is outside noise that I got to sell it a little bit.
where
So now you can hear it.
Leander Police Department, where service is first.
There you go. And then, of course, we end with their symbol. And that's it. They really enjoyed it. They liked it. Ran 1 minute. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Let me know what you think.